Hello friends, my name is Dr. Jyoti Prakash. I am assistant professor in the Department of Management, School of Management Sciences, Lucknow. Now today's topic is totally based on current trends in logistic industry. In this particular video lecture, we will see or we will have a discussion on the growth factor or the growth ratio of logistic industry in India, and the marketing mix elements of logistic industry, and the current trends that are used and that will be used in the coming time in logistic industry. So, just start discussion on this particular industry. So, firstly, in introduction I have mentioned the scenario of the Indian logistic market that represents that Indian logistic market is expected to grow at a growth rate of 12.17% by 2020, and that will be obviously driven by the growth in manufacturing, like growth in manufacturing sector, retail sector, FMCG sector and e-commerce. Obviously, the e-commerce sector nowadays it is increasing at a very fast speed, and it is basically breaking the boundaries, or they are increasing in by any leaps and bounds. So, firstly just understand what is logistic. So, logistic is an essential part of supply chain management, and it deals with the movement of goods and services from the point of origin to the point of consumption. So, somehow logistic we can say that it is a supporting services that are availed by the service firm for making available the product, either product or services to the customer without any hassle or without any problem, and it is one of the important element of supply chain management. Supply chain management is all about managing the supply chain, means managing the chain of the supply, and supply means suppose company are manufacturing some type of product and they are offering some type of services and want to make available that to the customer. So, this particular supply chain management helps the company in making available that thing or that offering to the customer with the help of logistic. So, logistic plays very important role in making available or in helping the firm in delivering the product or services to the customer. Transportation is also one of the important aspect of logistic and supply chain management, because without transportation it is not possible to move the product or the service, the establishment of or the process of the service from one place to another. So, transportation is also one of the important part of logistic function, which somehow plays an important role in making goods available at the point of use. In fact, in India, India basically spends around 14.4% of its GDP on logistic and transportation, because these two are very important element of supply chain. So, that should be basically that must be higher. So, India spends around 14.4% of its GDP on this particular logistic and transportation element, as compared to less than 8% spent by some other developing countries, because India is also a developing country, but India spends too much or a higher percentage of its GDP on this particular component or in this particular aspect of supply chain as compared to some other developing firm, and basically other developing firms are spending less percentage of their GDP, but India spends, because they know, the government of India basically knows the important or the prominent role of logistic and the transportation or the overall supply chain management. So, they are spending, the government is spending more on it. So, we should also understand the service marketing mix elements or the 7 P's element of 7 P's of logistic industry. So, what are they? If we talk about the first element is what the product. Product is all about like shipping and freight, air, water, road, critical freight, Customer brokerage, package shipment, supply chain services, export and import shipping means these are basically the type of product or the type of offering that logistic firms are making available to the customers. And whatever the product or whatever the offering or the services you are as a customer you are using or you are taking help from the logistic firm, accordingly you will have to pay price for that. So, price is all about varied price in different countries as per weight and distance. Obviously, the competitive pricing means logistic firms has to take care of the pricing strategy of their competitors too, means what they are doing, what they are adopting, the pricing or what they are charging the price to the customers to the available services. So, being a logistic firm, you have to take care of or you have to just analyze the your competitors pricing strategy, and accordingly you just set out the price of yours for making available the services or the offering to the customers. And the next one is seasonal pricing, obviously because demand varies as per the season in logistic firm. So, if peak season is there, you can charge high price for that, and if season is if non peak season or the demand is not so high, so accordingly you can charge less price for that. Means it is price will totally based on the type of service or the on the basis of the distance, on the basis of your competitors move, and on the basis of the season. In that as a customer you are purchasing the service of a logistic firm. If we talk about the place means logistic firms are having head offices and branch offices all across India. Being a customer, you can go there and just avail the services of a logistic firm. Means logistics firm are basically helping clients in moving the product from one place to another. In promotional activities, these logistic firms basically uses like conducted some CSR activities, outdoor advertising, money back guarantee, sports sponsorship, television advertising. So, these are basically some of the element of promotion which are used by logistic firm in order to give information about the services or about the offering that are making available to the customer. So, first is CSR activity is all about corporate social responsibility. By conducting or by getting involved in these type of activities, a logistic firm basically want to portray a good image or a good basically well image into the eyes or into the mind of the customer. So, they conduct different activities related to some social cause, so that the customer just be associated or just informed about the practices or the services of yours, just influenced to purchase that. Outdoor advertising is just like using hoardings and banners for promoting or for giving information about the services that you are offering to them. Money back guarantee, because logistic is all about making the product making available the product from company to customer. So, if a customer is found the product damaged or get damaged or get not in the same way as they have placed order. So, these basically give they basically make promise about money back guarantee. If the customer will find these type of gaps or these type of problem in their offerings, so obviously their money will be backed or their money will be returned to them. So, this particular aspect is also work like as a tool of promotion. So, the customer can easily rely on that and just be influenced for for availing the services of the logistic firm. Sponsorship, by giving sponsorship to different events or different players, the logistic firm basically also spreaded information about the offerings. Television advertising is like by placing or by presenting the ad into the television or into different medias. You being a logistic firm, you are also giving information about the offerings to the customer. If we see if we talk about people means simply the representative, the employees or the stakeholders that are basically associated with you they will help you out in fulfilling the promises that you have made to the customers, and that help you out in making available the product or services to the customers. The next process, in process, the process or things like door to door collection and drop off services. Real time tracking means these firms basically give you a facility like nowadays if we I have placed an order on first cry regarding diaper for my baby. So, they can give, they are also giving a tracking number, and through that I can get I can just track out my product arrival, that or at what time or at what time I can just receive that particular consignment or that particular order. So, that is all about facility of real time tracking. That is also a process, means you do not have to interact with the employees of the organization, you just given that tracking ID, you just go through that and you just track out the position or the state of your order, means at what date or at what time you will be received that particular product or the services of the logistic firm. Tie up with local delivery firms. Obviously, it is not possible to make available the product with the employees or with the representative of the firm. So, sometimes these logistic firms basically makes a tie up with local delivery firm, and these delivery firm basically helps them in delivering or in making available or in fulfilling the process of delivery to the customers. So, these process come under these things come under process of logistic firms. The next is physical evidence, how you can identify or how you can be able to recognize or remember the name of that service firm by seeing the brand logo on airlines, or by seeing the brand logo on containers, by seeing the uniforms or the dress code of the employees of that firm, by seeing the brand logo on vehicle that use that they are using for making a picture about the physicality or about the existence of the logistic firm. So, these are basically the important element of or the 7 P's or the elements of service marketing mix. I hope you are very much able to understand this particular concept. Now, the next is based on the next discussion is based on current trends in logistic industry. So, the first trend is Internet of Services. The IoT is basically a connection of physical devices that monitor and transfer the data via the internet and without human intervention. IoT in logistic basically enhances visibility in every step of supply chain and improves the efficacy or efficiency of inventory management. Obviously, as I told earlier that if you are placing an order in a virtual mode or through a online store, they will give you a tracking ID, and through that you as a customer can track out or can just see the movement or the position or the state of your order, at what time or at what day you will receive your consignment or you will receive your ordered product. So, that is all about the contribution of Internet of Services, means you are just getting you are just tracking the consignment or the ordered product with the help of internet or with the help of some mobile or laptop or your desktop computer, and you are able to see the position of your ordered product in a very easy manner. So, it is one of the important trend that are basically that is used by the logistic industry. The second important trend is artificial intelligence. I think in all the sector of service sector, this particular aspect or this particular thing plays very important role in making the overall process very easy and very smooth. In fact, our customer will find obviously ease in accessing or in availing the services of the firms, any firm in fact. So, AI combined with machine learning support companies to be proactive in dealing the demand fluctuations. Obviously, because you are having a big data, you are having a database about the fluctuations or about the anticipation or about the prevailing factors that may arise any time in coming time. So, accordingly you can take formulate different strategy in order to meet out that fluctuations or in order to fulfill the requirement of the customer in that particular time period. So, that is all about help or contribution of artificial intelligence. For example, artificial intelligence suppose forecasting solution and allow manager to plan out supply chain processes and find ways to reducing operating cost, because if in coming time or future time if demand fluctuates due to any factors, because we all know that there are many prevailing factors in the scenario in the market that may affect the demand level of demand of any product at any time. So, artificial intelligence helps them helps the manager in identifying that, and accordingly they just suggest they can just give an idea to the managers that what strategy or what things they can adopt in order to meet out or in order to fulfill the timely demand at that fluctuated time, at that affected time. And self-driving AI and smart road technology are affecting a positive shift towards delivery service automation, because with the help of some IDs or uh, some number you are able to track out, you are able to visualize the things or that you have placed out. Means logistic is all about making available the thing from the company to the customer. So, AI helps customers in finding or finding the position of the product, and company as well also the company as well company can also track out the delivery of the product, that the delivered product is reaching at the promised time or not. Next one is robotics. Integrating robotics into logistic process increases the speed and accuracy of supply chain processes, and obviously that will reduces the error that may occur due to the manpower or due to the person involved in that process. Robots offer more uptime and increase productivity when compared to human workers. Obviously, human being having certain sort of constraint in terms of capabilities or in terms of strength, but these robots do not have. So, they can obviously contributed a lot in increasing the productivity or in utilizing the resources in a very effective manner. Robots, however, do not take up the jobs of human, but rather work collaboratively alongside them to increase efficiency. Introducing robots into the system, it does not mean that the logistic firm has to reduce or lay off the number of manpower. They just combine the robots with human man or human being or the human resources, so that the result can be more effective. Because these robots are basically just like machine, and if this machine can be operated by some intellectual persons or intellectuality, obviously the results will be higher. So, physical robots such as cobots and AMR are used to pick and transport goods in warehouses and storage facility. Nowadays, firms are basically uses physical robots. Some of the name of the robots like cobots and AMR are using by the logistic firms in order to speed up the overall delivery process, and they are basically used in the warehouses in making movement or in making arrangement of the inventories that they have in their warehouse and their storage. Next one is warehouse automation. Warehouse is somehow a place where the inventories are being kept until the demand arises. So, warehouse, whatever the logistic firm has selected or set up a warehouse, that should be work in a very automatic way. So, warehouse automation increases efficiency, speed and productivity by reducing human intervention. Pick and place technologies such as automated guided vehicles, robotic picking, automated storage and retrieval, put up picking reduce error rates and increases warehouse productivity. As in introducing robots and warehouse automatic just converted warehouse automatically. So, by doing so you are somehow trying to reduce the error or the problematic area that may arise or that may happen any time due to the involvement of manpower. So, if the firm uses or just converted the warehouse into automatic mode, so somehow they are able to save their cost too, and they can be confident about the accuracy of the inventory, and they can be confident that whatever the product or the inventory can made available to the customer, that will be available in a very sound or in a very real way as the customer is expecting or as the customer has ordered. Warehouses required a combination of efficient automation technologies in order to control their operational logistic cost. Now, logistic firms basically are totally concerned in introducing certain sort of automation, and they uses automatic technology in order to operationalize and channelize the overall activities that will be conducted in a warehouse. Warehousing includes the activities like checking or supervision of the inventory, movement of those inventory from one place to another, and just identifying the damaged product, and just having a close supervision on the available inventory. So, if you are have introduced some automatic technology for these purposes, obviously that will help you out in controlling or in saving your overall operational logistic cost, or that will also making your process more or more easier, or we can say that you can conduct these activity in a smoother way. Next is blockchain. This brings transparency of transaction to the entire logistic process. Moreover, smart contracts based on blockchain technology allow for quicker approval and clearance by reducing the processing time at checkpoint. Simply, blockchain is all about a concept that must be or that are basically introduced by the logistic firm for having a transparency in the overall logistic process, so that whenever a requirement generates, that requirement can be fulfilled at a very less time, or quickly that information can be made available to the required person or in front of the concerned person. So, blockchain is all about making or introducing transparency. So, everybody can access to that information and accordingly resolve or adopt strategy or whatever the purposes they are just carrying out, that can be fulfilled with this particular thing. The next one is autonomous vehicles. Autonomous vehicles improve vehicle safety and deliver goods safely by eliminating human error while driving. Autonomous vehicle is all about the vehicle should be drive automatically, and by doing so somehow the logistic firm may reduce the error that may arise due to involvement of human resource. So, this trend basically can be or may be followed by the logistic firm in coming time or future time, because our country or all sectors basically are overall going dependent on technology or this artificial intelligence or the big data. So, obviously, their overall processes will be based on technology or the big data and the automatic thing. So, the vehicles that they are using in making in delivering the product to the customers, that should also be used automatically, and for by doing so the logistic firms basically somehow reduces or eliminated the human errors. They increase the efficiency in the first and last mile delivery, as they are designed to work all day and all night, because these vehicles have been designed by checking the pros and cons, or by after conducting several types of experiment on them. So, they can be proved efficient in making delivery very effectively and making available the product to the customer on time. And moreover, autonomous vehicle improve fuel efficiency by using platooning technique for long haul routes, reduce traffic jams and optimize travel routes by taking advantage of artificial enhanced technology. Obviously, you cannot think you cannot imagine the bane or the boon of basically the technology or the artificial intelligence. Means this artificial intelligence has made the life easier of everyone nowadays. So, obviously, this the contribution of this artificial intelligence technology and they have basically this particular technology has helped the firms of every sector a lot in making the process smoother or in making giving full satisfaction to the customers if the customers are going to experience the services of these service firms. So, obviously, they are basically taking help of these technology or the softwares or the big data for giving a feel of satisfaction to the customer. So, somehow we have seen that the current trends that are using or in fact that may be used in coming time or future time by the logistic firms like IoT, means Internet of Services, artificial intelligence, like yeah, by taking help of artificial intelligence, managers can just made out or adopt out different strategies in order to reduce the cost or in order to meet out the timely demand. And they can also introduce some robots in the overall warehouse or in the process of overall supply chain management, so that they can they are able to reduce the human error that may arise or that can be, obviously that is naturally arised because the human are having some sort of constant in terms of capabilities and the strength, and these if these robots are if combined with human resource, obviously the result or the outcome will be more because if the technology and human being are working together, you cannot imagine the outcome or the consequences of that collaboration or that cooperation. So, being a logistic firm, you should just take care of this particular aspect too. Means if you are if you have introduced robots in your organization, so you also combine with the use of that robots with the manpower, so that productivity or the result will be more accurate and more efficient. And there are some types of robots already being used by the logistic firms. Warehouse automation, you just convert your warehouse physical mode from physical mode to automatic mode, so that process can be conducted in a very easier manner. By blockchain, you can introduce transparency, so the data can be fetched out anytime as per the requirement. You can also use autonomous vehicle for making delivery very effectively and efficiently, and these are basically the sum of the references you just to go through if you want to get more information about the topic. And that is all in this particular topic. I hope you will like this particular video class. Thank you, students.